Alright, so you got a John Deere Backhoe and everything's going along smooth, and all of a sudden it starts to run a little hot, and then a lot more hot. And before it gets to the red, you shut it off and you let it cool down, you do it again, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, it goes down to regular temperature. Most likely it's your thermostats went bad. They jammed when they're in there, and these are 25 years old. These are brand new ones here, but for 25 years they get seized up. So what you do is take your hood off, air breather, muffler, that's how I did it, side panels and hood. Of course, you can just take this one side access panel off and reach in to do it. Once you get in, here's your thermostat housing. Remove 3 bolts, and voila, 1, 2, these are longer, and here's your little itty bitty shorter one right there. Of course, you'll wire wheel these buggers and, you know, hit never sees on there to put it back in. Let's see how this works. Come on, sweetie. Ta-da! And she's coming out and leaking. Ooh, rusty goo. And you know, I flushed this system all out. Put this down here. Let's see. Hasn't made it there yet. It's not that much. Let's see what happens when I pull it open. Oh, there's all rusty goo in there. Well, here's the old. It's all gummed up with rusty goop. Here's the new. Of course, if you flush your system out, probably prevent a lot of this. Looks like the gasket's there, but it's really not. See, gasket, you got the red ring on one side and nothing on the other. So you look at this and you say, oh gee, well, you gotta scrape it off there? No, your gasket's up top there. This red ring goes down, so you have to remove the gasket from here. It goes face down here. Now, of course, you clean these all up, and I'll spin a little tap and die through these to clean them out, and we'll assemble this. Now, I'm going to flush this all out with water all over again, because I didn't realize I'd cleaned this out years ago when I did the water pump and flushed the system out completely and did everything but change the thermostats. So here we are today doing it. Of course, I always got to test everything. Here's the 2 old ones, 1, 2, and I stick a new one in there to gauge it by to see how they open. And pretty soon, the water will get hot and we'll test them. And then, of course, we'll have lunch too, right?
Stuffed peppers.
Hooray! Up. And the other 2 are still the same. They haven't changed. Alright, I'm cleaning it off. What I always do is I use a scraper, scrape the hard stuff off and the chunks and get it out. And then what I do is I use like this. It's a roll-lock. See that? And you can get these things on eBay really cheap. And just, oh, gotta aim the camera. Clean it all off. Of course, you got the same thing in there. What I do is I stick paper towels down in. And the reason I go with paper towels is like chunks and dirt that go down inside, you'll get stuck down in there and it's going to go through your system. So, you know, you got like these little bits. You see how that just got caught right on that paper towel? Well, I got caught right on that paper towel there, didn't go down in. You can dampen the towels, those little paper towels, and, you know, catch the stuff before it goes down in. Then give it a grinding around with the same thing, you know, or a wire wheel or whatever. I like the roll-lock discs with the sandpaper on them. They work really good. And mount it all back together. And that's the way it goes. A little update. I stopped doing it last night. I came back this morning. I was thinking about this because these things looked like they were put in backwards, and they were. They're supposed to be in like this. And with this down in, when you see in the original video, I'll do a quick flash. See, there you go. And they were installed like this. Some jackass who put this together put it in upside down. And it says on them, to radiator, it tells you right on the stinking thing. It's hard to it's hard to read. But you can read them. It has a little arrow. Come over this one. Here's one of the old ones that was taken out. And I don't know if you can catch that on video or not. It says toward radiator, and it's got an arrow pointing upward. And in the video, you'll notice these were protruding up like this when it came out. It either had to have been John Deere when they were assembled new, that they put it in upside down, and they worked. But another thing was I did have an injector pump put on from a guy from John Deere, and this guy, it was, well, not the sharpest tool in the shed, I don't think, but it could have been him if he'd taken it off here. I don't know why he would have. Do injector pumping and injectors. He might have to take all this off and just unbolted this off and slid it back on. I don't know. I didn't even watch him do it. But I know for a fact I didn't, and I looked through my receipts, and I didn't buy these, you know, thermostats in the gasket when I did. I unbolted it down here, and the O-ring on the side popped it out when I did the water pump, and that was basically it. And I changed the gasket down here. I should have taken this apart when I had the chance, way back when, but thankfully nothing got hurt. And they do function upside down. Can you believe that? Well, I guess you could. It gets warm and the heat transfers. Probably just doesn't function as good as it should. Can you believe that? Upside down. But these were sticky anyway. The first time I put it in the batch and of water, they didn't open very good, and then they finally did. The new ones opened right up, and then after a couple times these started opening better, and when they go to close you put them under cold water with a pair of tongs, and these were actually clicking, so there's something hanging up in there on them. So definitely needed new ones. I'm going to put it together and we're going to see how it goes. Lay your gasket in and settle it. Remember the little bolt was on the bottom? We spun this through like a tap and die set and then wire wheeled the little sucker and never sees. So I don't know how much more you can go on this, but that's what I do. I'm a fanatic when it comes to the bolts and stuff with never sees and sealants and cleaners. This way, when I know when I go into something, if I'm going to get it out, I can get it out again without a problem. And, well, actually a minimal problem. And that'll be that. We're going to flush it out with water and test it. As you can see, we got it in there. We'll tighten those suckers up and we'll go from there. All fixed. As you can see that little white nib on the center of the green there, that's where the needle used to be. Now it's just a whisker to the left, you know, about 1/8 of an inch over. And so flipping them things over cooled it down about 20 degrees or so, you know, 15, 20 degrees. And they were definitely clogged. Doesn't go over top of that and purrs like a kitten as always.